Hi, my name is Kyla. Today I'm going to be talking about the book project Scrapbook I did based on the young adult novel Ghost Boys by Jewell Rhodes. And one of the things that really interested me while reading this book was the connection between Jerome, the boy who gets shot and killed, and Sarah, the daughter of the police officer that shot him. And so I really wanted to illustrate both of their journeys in this scrapbook. So what I did was I have this little introduction type thing, like this is the story of a 12-year-old boy, just kind of introducing the book. And then what I also did was you can flip it upside down and go like backwards, and it's the same story but from Sarah's point of view. So there are some like kind of mirrored like pages and stuff, but they both went through different trials and different levels of growth and everything like that, so their pages are different. So I'll start by going through Jerome's. So on the first page I just did a little day in the life, so based on the information given in the text, just some things about him, what he likes to do, some quotes, and all that stuff. And I'll be going through these pretty quickly, but feel free to pause and look at it more carefully if you'd like to. And then on the back of each slide, I kind of have different like information or explanations on why I chose to do different things. And the boy in this picture is Alex Hibber, and he's most known for his role in Moonlight. And I just like having a visual like actor or someone that comes to mind for each character. So that's someone that came to my mind when I was reading about Jerome. So this is his vision board for the future. So he talked about all these different careers that he might want to go into and growing up, and he constantly talked about kind of rising above his circumstances and getting out of middle school and being an adult and getting taken seriously and all that. So I kind of depicted that here. And then this is kind of like 2-in-1 type page. So the top here, it's about his friendship with Carlos and like his first friend that he's had at his school, and kind of like having this pact, or I guess secret, with Carlos about the fake gun and Carlos giving it to him, and then that leads to his murder. So I just kind of showed that and showed like people recording, and yeah. That. And then this is right after he dies, when he becomes a ghost boy, and I just really wanted to show his feeling of like being lost and confused and disconnected from the real world. So I showed that here and some quotes from the book. And then this is acceptance. It's when Emmett Till finally tells his story and kind of immerses Jerome in the memories and has him like feel what he felt, and he finally feels like a part of the Ghost Boys and understands the main purpose and what it's all about. So it kind of just showed that here. And then this top part is the altar that Carlos made for him in his room, and this picture actually moves like up and down, because in the book he can make the picture move by saying like these words like friend forever, always amigo. And then the bottom is just kind of like the two families coming together, as well as like Sarah giving Kim the book and everything, and Carlos walking Kim to school. So it's just kind of like that feeling of family, and in a way moving on and like accepting the death. And before I show like the middle page, I'll move on to Sarah's. So hers starts in a similar way, day in the life. So lots of pink, ice skating, books, all that. Jerome says she smells like lilacs. Police officer dad, all that. And then this is like the aftermath of like right after the shooting and everything happens, and she's kind of torn. Doesn't really know what to think at that point. She like hears one thing, but then hears another, like her dad's a hero or her dad's a murderer. So she's just kind of like really confused and angry and doesn't know what to think. And then the Peter Pan shows like her connection with Jerome, as well as like symbolizes her childhood ending in a way, or her innocence ending in a way, because she's being exposed to all this like real world issues. And this is like one of my favorite pages. This is Sarah, and this is like the scene where she goes to the library and the librarian says this quote at the bottom, and she wants to find more about Emmett Till, and this thing could be lifted up or down. So I just wanted to showcase the controversial issue of like what age is a good age to have children know about this stuff, or like how young is too young for people to know about like our country's history or even like the current issues that are happening. And then this is her kind of being immersed in research and becoming obsessed with finding out about this other reality that she had no idea even existed. So just her searching about Jerome's case and other cases and being torn about what to think. And then this is the alone page. So just her feeling like she doesn't have anyone to talk to. She has like the ghost boys and stuff, but even Jerome and her relationship is kind of like off and on sometimes, but she just feels like she can't talk to her parents anymore and just feels so guilty about everything, like that she can't really do anything, and it just changes her whole personality. And then this was the page that I really liked because it shows the two worlds coming together. And one of the reasons why I did like one side Sarah, one side Jerome, and like upside down is kind of like they come from two different worlds and two different perspectives. And as cliche as it sounds, like they both like turned each other's worlds upside down. So I just wanted to illustrate that, and this is kind of like a resolution type peaceful page where they are at, like this is depicting her future, like she becomes a mom, an activist, works with her dad, and then in Jerome's page, he kind of like accepts what's happened to him, and he says like I feel better, and finally realizes why Sarah can see him and nobody else can't. So that's what I have for this project. And if this book sounds interesting and you're wondering like how to teach it in your classroom, some things that could be really beneficial are to explain why you're reading that text. I mean, this is good for any text that you read, but especially one that's more controversial depending on what state you're in. But just saying like this is why we're reading it, these are the issues it's covering, as well as having kind of a broad discussion or like open discussion, I guess, about some of these topics or issues, like asking questions like what is privilege and what does it mean to be prejudiced and things like that. Another thing that could be helpful is either prefacing with some poems or short stories or like reading them alongside the book. But just different things about, it could be like racial injustice, police brutality, or it could be more broad topics like identity and justice in general. So I think that could kind of give them different perspectives and point of views, and just more text to build these ideas off of instead of just, one book to go off of. And I also think too, like this book really helped me think of a lot of ways and approaches to discuss books like this. And one thing she says is that literature grants readers vicarious access to a vast range of worlds beyond our own. Our English classrooms can provide venues for helping students engage in civil discourse on the pressing issues of our time. So that kind of just reiterates the purpose of reading these types of texts, is kind of showing them this reality that a lot of them may not live, or maybe things that they're seeing in the news but don't really understand. So I'll give a couple more detailed approaches or things that you can keep in mind when teaching in the description box below, but thank you for listening.